I finished off at the Wellington Vintage Fair and Swap Meet, and it was a fantastic day. People did tell me the numbers were down a little bit today compared to some previous years, and the general consensus was that the drought just means that money dries up across an entire community. And it is significant, even though we often talk about drought impacting farmers and drought impacting income for farmers. Something that is often forgotten, and I have talked about it in previous videos, but something that's often forgotten is the fact that small businesses in places like Wellington, like Narromine, like Trangie, even like places like Golgong, are really reliant on the money that the farmers generate from their farming environment to go and spend that money in those local communities. And if that money is not being generated on the farms, it's not being spent on these local communities, and we're seeing some of those businesses really suffer. Now today was lots of small businesses, lots of those stallholders suffering, and even places like the Lions food van or Rotary in terms of collecting money through the gate. Some of those charity organisations have a bit of a drop in their income compared to, say, previous years. Having said that, I still think it was a great day. Lots of people came past. It was still a great event for Wellington, and I think Wellington is really good at holding events like this, like Springfest, although there are some question marks over Springfest. But some of those events that are held on the Wellington calendar, I think, really add to the offerings, the culture and the arts offerings that are available here in Wellington. So, great day. I had lots of people talk to me. People came past, and certainly there is still that frustration with the major parties. That comes through more and more, and as we're getting closer to the election, I think I'm hearing that more and more, but I really talk about what I can do in a positive fashion rather than focused on the negatives from the big parties. So people talk to me about power pricing, people talk to me about renewables, they talked about things like scripture in schools. That's an interesting one. I haven't heard a lot about scripture in schools, but I've had a few people talk about that and about supporting the idea of giving people choice about what they learn in schools and that ability to have that full-rounded education. They also talked about preferences. I mentioned that in the video yesterday. They want to know where my preferences are going. They want to understand more about the preference system, which is great, because these are people that are getting engaged in the process, engaged in what happens in an election and thinking about that election rather than thinking about it 5 seconds before they walk in to vote. So I really like those questions about preferences, and I like those questions about how it all works and the whole election process. People talked about education in general in terms of TAFE. They talked about education specifically around some of the schools and what can happen in some of those schools going forward. And the health system, there was some discussion again around the health system, probably more around health in Mudgee yesterday because of the development going on in the hospital there and the lack of additional resources. People are still frustrated in places like Wellington about the things that they've got to go to, say, Dubbo for or even Sydney for, rather than things that maybe they could do in Wellington. And even if we extend those services at Dubbo, people feel like they've only got to travel that half an hour. Without a doubt, the main thing that seems to come up in Wellington time and time again is crime. The 24-hour police station came up, so lots of people have spoken about that. Even business development, having better businesses or more businesses, not so much better businesses, in the CBD, having townhouses in the CBD, but a lot of those issues came back to crime and about people wanting to feel safer in those environments. So that was certainly a big topic, and I think the rejuvenation of the CBD of Wellington would be really important, and I think the 24-hour police station would go a long way towards addressing that problem. So good day, well done to the organisers today, had a very enjoyable day, and we've only got less than 3 weeks to go till the final election day. So it's getting very exciting and a lot of work still to be done, but I'll keep being out there, keep being in the community. Once again, I've said it before, I'm amazed that the other candidates don't turn up some of these things, and again today, I was the only candidate here with a stall. In fact, I didn't see any candidate here at all today, and what a great event for people to be at, for the candidates to be at, to talk to lots of people, but I didn't see anyone else here. So I love it when that happens. I've got the whole place to myself, and I've got all those conversations to have with people without any other competition sitting there around us. This has been Mathew Dickerson, your independent voice.